So this is the wood just after it's come off of the planer. And we are down to the thickness that we want. We need it to be at 18 mil on the body blank. And we are at 18.17. So that gives us a little bit of room with sanding. And then 7.5 with the fingerboard, and that's where we're at. So what you can get sometimes off of a planer is lines where the blade, if there's wear on the blade and there's inconsistencies, you can see some high spots here. And all you got to do is take a regular cabinet scraper, a cabinet or wood scraper, and shave those off. We're good on this one here. Okay, so at this point, the very next thing that we're going to be doing is marking center lines on everything. We have to have center points of reference to make sure that we're even on the templates, and especially for lining up the guitar neck to the body. So it's a pretty simple concept. Measure out the width of what you're working with. This is 104. And then you just do the math. So at 52 is where our mark's going to be. Okay, neck blank is done. We're going to do the same with the fingerboard, although we are not going to be working with the fingerboard right away. We're just going to get that already taken care of. 75. 75. Okay. All right, so the next step here is getting your template traced onto the neck blank. So a couple things to go over with the templates. Templates can be made out of anything. This is just typical plywood. You don't want a really cheap, unstable material to use for templates. But as long as it's, I would say, 1/2 inch thickness or greater, that way there's enough beef to it and enough to be able to trace onto the template, or trace on the actual blank. But as far as the outline and the design of the templates themselves, you can get those online if you know what type of guitar you're looking for. You also need to kind of know the specifications of the guitar that you're working with or that you want to build before you get into it. So, for example, this guitar here is, as I said, after a Fender Telecaster Deluxe. Those guitars are 25.5-inch scale length. So, you only have so much to work with when it comes to the distance between your nut, where the body joins the neck, the distance between the heel part of the neck on the body inlet, and the bridge, because the distance between the nut and the bridge is 25.5 inches. So that's going to depend on how long your neck is, where your nut position's at. Once you have the pick guard, that's only going to give you so much room on the body to work with. So you have to make up for the rest of it, usually on the neck side. I'm going to pick up the camera to show you this. These are Fender headstocks. So the one that we are designing this after is this one right here, I believe. I believe it's this one. And it has the specifications. 1.650 nut width, and then it has the front contour and the back contour, and this is for the shaping. When we get to that section, that's a very fun section. I'll show you what I mean more by that, but it's got the spacing for the tuners. You can find these online, and I have a whole book full of them, and I've got different copies in here, but it goes to the Stratocaster, different variations in the contouring. For instance, this is a Jaguar. It's got the different years. There's tons of variety out there you can find online, and it's very, very easy. You take out the sheet, you cut it out, and then you trace that on to a template. And then from there, you figure out where your nut position's at, mark your nut position, and then you make up the rest of the difference off of the distance between where it's going to join in for your body. For the body designs, that makes it a little more difficult. You can find these online, full-scale PDF files. Sometimes you have to actually buy them from a manufacturer. Stuart McDonald or Warmoth has a couple of them. Different guitar manufacturer or distributor websites, and so you just got to kind of look around. If you have someone's guitar that you want to make it after, if someone has a Telecaster Deluxe, or if you wanted to make a soloist model guitar, you could borrow theirs, make the outline, and take all your specifications and mark it onto a template. So it's not really that hard. But anyway, moving on, we're going to trace the template onto the neck blank here. I'll set the camera back down. So another part that you have to look at here is which side you're using. So I think I'm going to go with, what end do I want to use here? I think I'm going to use most of my template off of this end. So all you do at this point is line up your center line on the template with the center line on the neck blank. Okay, and then you trace it out. And then you can, at that point, mark your preliminary nut position. I say preliminary because you want to make fine adjustments before you actually determine that when you go to cut your fret slots. You want to make sure this is right where you want it. So that is subject to change as necessary. So now we have our outline, and we're going to move on to installing the truss rod. So I'm going to do an additional video for that.